order, 7 o'clock. First of all, like the acknowledgement of the First Nations. Mayor and Council wishes to acknowledge the town of Fort Smith located within the Treaty 8 territory. Treaty 8 territory also encompasses the traditional homelands of Salt River First Nations, Smith Landing First Nations, and the Indigenous community of Fort Smith. These nations have maintained stewardship over their sacred lands throughout generations. We honor their knowledge, teaching, traditions, and the land. We are mindful that colonization hasn't been kind. We respectfully recognize our generation's history and commit to striving for unity in the spirit of truth and reconciliation. Okay, having said that, delegations.
Mr. Mayor, we had Luke and Susanna from the IBI group who have been working on our Conneaut Park redevelopment project, landscape and design. So they're going to share with us some proposed conceptual designs, and then that will help us to move this project forward.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
So I guess it's my turn. Yeah. So thank you very much for having Suzanne and I tonight at the meeting. For those of you who don't remember the first meeting, we were not at the first meeting we presented a couple of months ago. My name is Luke Denishe. I'm a landscape architect, senior landscape architect, and an associate with IBI Group here in Edmonton. I'm the project landscape architect for the Conneaut Transnational Park and also landscape amenities. And with me tonight is Susanna Pong from our Calgary office. Susanna is the project architect for Conneaut Park design. The way we would like to conduct this presentation tonight is that I'll go over the overall recap of the park. I've presented this before to the council, so I think you are familiar with it. I do believe you had also some documents that we're able to peruse prior to this evening. And once I've gone through the general park design, preliminary design, then I'll hand it over to Susanna, which will explain the three options that we have for the stage, the interpretive center, as well as the washrooms. So before I begin, are there any questions? So very well. So I will share my screen. Please let me know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Great. So to recap, the initial design, preliminary design that we had done and presented to the council has been modified slightly based on some feedback that we received from various stakeholders, excuse me, including the First Nations committees, Métis committees, the public engagement sessions, as well as town council, and also the steering committee members and their feedback. So the initial concept had more fire pits. We had actually 3 fire pits. We removed 2. We left 1 in Transcanada Trail Park, and then we modified the terrain a bit and also made 2 new options for the stage, washrooms, and also the interpretive center as a whole. Just to recap again, this is Conneaut Park, and part of the strategy was also to incorporate Transcanada Trail Park across the street, as this was deemed necessary, or it would be a nice amenity to include in the refurbishment of Conneaut Park. So the preliminary design actually shows that concept, but we've included not only a physical but a visual connection to Conneaut Park, by removing some trees in the center and also at the edge of the Transcanada Trail Park to allow for that visual connection. Again, this would be the main interpretive center and the stage, as well as the washrooms. The washrooms will contain a small storage area, as well as a small wood-colored green room for the performing artists who are waiting to go on stage. One of the main, another main kind of gesture that we've done is to incorporate and expand Canterbury Park by taking the existing gravel road, or sorry, gravel parking lot right here and actually converting it to an additional green space. How we've achieved that is by moving the existing parking lot towards this area here where the existing, the former movie theater is. And I do believe it was purchased by the community or municipality and is slated to be demolished. This could be turned into a parking lot for the park and also for people visiting the Transcontinental Park. We've got some interpretive signage located in the interpretive center, these formations here and there, as well as some interpretive signage also that we can incorporate in the Transcontinental Park. For the Transcontinental Park, I'll just give a summary of what the design could be. We're looking at a playground from ages 6 to 12, and also a top lot from 6 months to age 5. Picnic tables, benches, and like I said earlier, a fire pit area, which would be built on concrete with a fire pit in the center and also some proper seating. Excuse me, sorry, my screen is going kind of weird here. What else? Right, one of the things also that we've decided to incorporate and keep in this new design is the existing berms that are in the park. We've heard a lot of feedback about those, and they're actually a great little play element for the children to run around. It also offers some variety and some modulation to an otherwise flat site. That's why we decided to not only keep them, but accentuate also the berms so there's a variation and there's a bit of a sense of discovery throughout the park. One of the things we wanted to do is to keep the park, not put too many things into the park, so that we can keep it as a free-flowing multi-use space. And that in that manner, it could be used as a play park, it could be used as a place to hang out, it could be used for gatherings, it can be used for music festivals and recitals, etc. So in a nutshell, that is the overall preliminary design of the park. Since we've done this, we've gotten some more comments from the steering committee, namely to kind of modify the central plaza here, move it closer to the stage and away from the main pathway, the asphalt pathway. Another one was to see if we can relocate the stage a bit further down and closer here so that it's not as much of a large open space in back here. And also to look at removing some of the interpretive signage that we had here, which are detached from the interpretive center, stage, and washrooms. There are some other minor variations that we need to do, but basically they will not affect the overall design of the parks and of Canterbury Park and Transcontinental Park. So right now, and I'm not sure how much time we have, but I would like to move on to option number 1 for the central feature here, which is the stage and the interpretive center. And I will pass it on to Susanna Pond. So just let me share my screen, and we will go with option 1, stage. There we go.
Okay, thanks, Luke. Good evening, everyone. So tonight I'm just going to run through 3 of the options that we looked at. This is the first option that we explored. So I'm not quite sure if Luke ran you through from the previous, I guess, presentation, the kind of idea behind the form and how everything flows. But we took the cues from where Fort Smith is, how it relates to the river, and brought that kind of narrative and language and what that story to what this installation can be. So the first option, we looked at materials and how things can flow with regards to the river itself, the form itself. So this option looks at kind of gabion baskets. So a really, really natural rock material to kind of anchors the side of the stage itself, with a trellis canopy on top to provide shade, and also a mechanism to hang lights and speakers and whatnot if need be. So this option has a little bit more robust feel with the gabion cages. And that kind of flows into how the interpretive panels can work in between and in front of these cages.
Option 2.
Option 2, we looked at it at kind of a different direction. So this one's a little bit more angular in nature. So the cue we took from this is more an abstraction